Cool, thank you.
Right.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural and incredibly exciting Four Nations Ultimate Tournament here in beautiful Glasgow, Scotland. I am delighted to be joined here in the booth. Firstly, I'm Gigi Morton, and I'm joined in the booth with Finlay Watson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, you know. A little bit sour after England just beat Scotland 8-7, but I'll quickly get over it so we can have a wonderful time commentating on this game between Ireland and Wales. Great shot from our drone up high here, looking onto the Gartnavel Hostel and then onto the Kilpatrick Hills in the distance and the Clyde side. But have you enjoyed the day so far, Gigi?
It's been so much fun. The energy, the vibes have been absolutely on point. We've seen some incredible competition so far, ridiculously close. We've seen 2 wins and a draw. Ireland having taken one of those wins already, and Wales being on the drawing end. Wales starting out on offense. Lees. Across the Tiswell, almost trying to get that second reception, but the problem that we've seen time and time again is catching in this wind. Kyo tips it up over the top. Ghislaine not able to hold on.
As the wind seems to be picking up a little bit here from the morning, just making it that little bit more difficult to play.
Stock count started to rise, but Lee's able to find an option in Ritu. Williams trying to find that deep shot himself. Tidswell tripping either over the Irish defender or over his own feet. Hopefully the Irish defender is okay. They're clutching an ankle, it seems.
And these Irish players are hardy people, so you know if they're down injured, it's serious.
That's Maroney that took the fall there. Very floaty backhand from Williams.
Just looks like he might have rolled their ankle there as they tried to go up for the disc.
Substitution taken from Stephen Jones in placement of Maroney. The Wales with another break opportunity. McCreary walking the disc up to the end zone line. Across the pitch to Keogh.
I feel like the teams that are going to win these matches are the teams that are going to be brave enough to throw expansive stuff, get it across the field, and that's exactly what Ireland are doing right now.
Yeah, and that's that first deep shot that we've seen for Ireland. Jones wanting to get it as far away from him as possible. I like the option. The cut was there, it was provided. Slightly too zippy, but it puts Wales in a much more difficult position in the pitch. They're now having to work upwind.
As Lees picks up the disc, and mainstay for the Smog open team.
Smog wills it. A difficult reception for Williams. Leads to another turnover. McCreary fakes, dishes over the top to Jones.
I love to see that high release throw.
We've seen some pretty imaginative shots so far already.
Yeah, even given the wind, it's been extremely impressive.
Yeah, definitely want to keep that going, keep the momentum up, because it's, I don't know, it's like a flick of backhand, just kind of flat. Yeah, cool, nice one, but...
The elevator backhand, much more fun to watch.
Yeah. High release flick, upwind, love it.
Why not? Well, again, we've said it once, we've said it before, it's the teams that are going to be brave enough to throw this expansive stuff that I think are going to win the games. You know, you will be rewarded with short field turns if you do go for big shots. As we see Lees here turning, turning the disc over. Again, Ireland with a short field, easily worked it up, and just a wonderful backhand throw there. It looks like the wind again has changed direction, so it'll be blowing on your screens from right to left, it seems. As Wales do a hard job of fielding the pool there.
Turner willing to go to grass to make sure that it doesn't roll out of the sideline, but still a difficult shot to make. the inside backhand looking for Haynes. Unfortunately unsuccessful. Ireland with a shorter field. Corcoran. Try to find Wilson, but again, catching is just so hard. Turner to Jenkins. Jenkins has Sully, takes that option on. Sully looking deep. Turner turning around at the perfect time. Mudd trying to chase down. It floats up perfectly. What a shot.
And they had all the time in the world. Turner, I believe, did not know that disc was coming to him until he turned round, just lanched onto it, and then threw an extremely wonderful leading pass to number 4 in the end zone there.
Living up to his namesake, just making sure he rotates the shoulder. Yeah, perfect. Love the puns.
As we see there, just sort of saw it at the last second, didn't think he was going to get there. And again, interesting how that floats up, because if we know one thing about the wind, we think it's going right to left, and that should get pushed down, but it just popped up long enough for number 4 to be able to get there.
Get a fantastic shot of the beautiful kit that's been provided for us by B Ultimate. And I believe you can buy some fan kit.
You
still.
absolutely can. You know, I think it'd be quite fun to match up. You know, you could take some Ireland shorts and a Scotland top, you know.
Oh, the orange on blue. Iron Brewery, that would be perfect. Yeah.
Maybe Scotland should have gone for that sort of type of kit.
Would have been quite bold.
Opposite sides of the colour wheel, though.
Yep.
Look well together. As Ireland look to throw the disc wide.
And Jones across to McCreary. McCreary trying to find McKeown, but tipped over the top. I loved the option. McKeown had perfect eyes for it. The quick flick to the inside, dish back behind from Jones.
That was almost University Frisbee-esque, where a fresher picks it up super quick and the experienced player behind them tells them immediately to throw it to them.
It's an underrated option.
The deep shot goes up by Ireland, sitting. And a wonderful grab there from number 7 Ireland.
The disc being kick spiked into the crowd. Not in good favour, to be honest.
I'd be keeping that if that were the fans. You know, that's a souvenir for them. So whoever's picked that up, I hope you do not give that back. Unfortunately, they have. Too nice. The spirit of ultimate reigns supreme.
As it should. But Jones under an immense amount of pressure on that catch. When you're being marked by Rodri Williams, who is known to be immense in terms of his defensive pressure, particularly for, at the moment, Chevron Action Flash. And with the disc soaring at that angle, Jones did a phenomenal job in holding on, and he pretty much, like, you could kind of see, just about held on to it.
And probably one of the biggest kick spikes I think I've ever seen in my life.
It certainly floated quite far. So 2-1. We're just about 7 minutes into gameplay. Games are only 40 minutes until we reach the bronze medal and the gold medal matches. Towards the end of the day will be the regulation 70 minutes.
Wonderful to see many of the Irish coordinating with their socks as well, I've noticed. A lot of them wearing orange socks.
Yeah, I rate the look, to be honest. It's the right colour of orange as well. It's not just like a different orange.
Look good, play good.
Turner trying to find Mudd again. With the angle of the cut and the angle of the disc itself, it didn't quite line up. But it has put Klinge in coffin corner, as it's affectionately known.
Yeah, Scotland really did in the previous game a difficult job of trying to get out of there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an up-the-line shot going to one of the Irish players, because it's so hard to get it off the sideline when you're in there. Wales know they'll want to get it off the sideline, and they will take away those options as they look straight away to get it off.
And as you predicted, they do so. Klinge finds McCreary. Klinge also going up the line herself, but McCreary with the high rising stall count floats a flick into the air. So many receivers underneath, tipped over the top by the Welsh defender.
And a stylish D there from number 4 Mudd. A little bit of sauce on that one. Almost looks like a gymnast dismounting after a jump.
Haynes calls the foul.
I always feel like these ones are tough ones to argue, because if you're throwing, no, not tough to argue whatsoever. If you're throwing that sort of backhand on the forehand side, sometimes you think you've released it, and there can be cause for tensions there in the discussion, but quickly solved there as we're back to action.
Some great spirit from Cunningham. Accepting the foul, but applying pressure on the force. Mudd looking deep herself, but Reed in much better position, also looking.
There's a quick short field turn there from Ireland. Wales with a big opportunity here to level up the game as they shoot across the end zone, and it's in easily. A knee side celebration, catching it on their knees altogether. Great score. Well fielded from the Welsh team to be able to pounce on that quickly, but you have to say a bit of a lack of concentration from the Irish.
Yeah, it took quite a few turns to get there. I'd agree with you with the lack of concentration, but also maybe rushing their options ever so slightly. Like they've had a decent amount of time still to get the disc off and to the first available option. They've still got 10 seconds to throw it, but it feels like, I don't know whether it's the defensive pressure that Wales is applying. We're obviously in the booth. We can't experience what the players are doing, but I feel like Ireland could just take a second, take a breath, and find confidence in all the throws that we know that they're phenomenal at.
Yeah. And we've not really spoken about the throw from number 36, Turner there. Excellent throw across the field. Managed to just keep it below the wind, stuck up for his offender, and scored it nice and easily. But a great throw from Turner.
A rolly pull from Davies that comes back towards us.
Ireland will be happy to see that one roll out, despite now being trapped on the sideline. We'll see what Wales can do defensively to keep them there.
Mickael pinned. But the inside backhand shot, I did like that option to Jones. Just that gust coming in. Oh, it's honestly causing absolute havoc here. Corcoran. Cross to Jones with the tip of the head down, ensuring that he's got the disc in his hands.
There's that high release backhand that worked well for the first score of the game, but not quite there.
Jackson quickly picks up, looking for that inside flick shot, the lefty flick shot as well.
Really becoming quite tricky out there. I just had to catch myself earlier, because I was saying, you know, they should concentrate more or they should be better. But we're up here tucked in the booth. There's no wind here. It's very, very easy for me and for Gigi to say, just throw better. But we're not out there.
Yeah, we've played in conditions like this, but it's easy to forget how hard it actually is until you're there, you're down on the ground, and you're up against not only incredible defensive pressure from your opponents, but the 13th person on the field, the 7th defender, is the wind.
Yeah, and they are doing a great job. Mother Nature's on nobody's side today, but let's see if Ireland and Wales can quell that.
Jackson, rather than opting for the flick, stays in the backhand grip. But it sits too low. Are now taking their time. Their stack is quite clustered at the moment.
Here we've seen teams struggle to punch it in as they look for a score. A great grab there.
Very casual hold onto the disc. Almost scooping it up from the ground again. Slightly too low. Williams immediately stepping in, going for the huck, and it soars. I don't think he intended to keep it really in line with a person anyway. It was just to get it away from the Irish end zone.
I think you're right. Possibly a travel would have been called earlier, but I think that would have got retracted quickly as we saw the Welsh player's pivot foot was far away from the sideline there.
So almost repeating ourselves, Mickael on that same sideline.
Long point, gritty point here will do wonders for the mentality of each team. Of whoever is able to put this one in, I'm sure will take it in their stride.
Throw from Jackson.
And you
floated. The Irish defenders boxed them out well.
Yeah, and you wonder if the Welsh players, I feel like, could have got a bit on that if someone would have ran deep with her, but choosing not to. As we saw another deep shot go.
It does feel like fatigue is also playing a role here. It's 6-on-6, so that losing that extra 7th player does tend to play its part eventually, especially as we've had longer points here. They have adjusted the size of the pitch to help make up for that lack of 7th player. But when you've had absolute monster marathon points like this, fatigue will play a part too.
This is anyone's ball here.
Anyone's ball, and it happens to be the sidelines. The crowd helping to bring that back in. Jones.
Ireland being expansive again.
I'm not surprised that there is a foul call there.
That's Tidswell just getting a little bit too involved. You could argue maybe he thought he had a line to the disc, but it did look like the contact affected the Irish player's attempt at the disc as well.
The throw from Jones, looking for Winnikin.
And yes, he does get in front of her, but at what cost? You know, she can't see him coming out the left-hand side, and it looks like an accepted foul has been the case here. The Irish are on the red zone here.
Another dangerous option.
I'm sure everyone did what I did there with a sharp intake of breath as soon as that one goes up, as Wales look to punch quickly.
Williams with the safe hands, trying to find Davies. Davies having to go to ground. This is certainly a marathon. It's becoming an ultra marathon very soon.
If there's any players that are capable of playing these super long points, it's the ones that we're seeing on the field just now. I would say Ireland are doing a good job of getting it to the red zone, then just getting a little bit feverish and not being able to punch them in. Wales, apart from one big huck that was dropped, we've not really seen them get past the halfway line so far. As another shot goes of Regan.
Yeah, I would agree. Wales aren't necessarily looking for that deep space shot, which is certainly an option that they could use. Bubbled, and received. Oh my goodness, does she get the stat for the assist and the goal at that point?
That is just textbook Frisbee on a windy day. Ireland sticking with the high releases, and you can see number 99 of Ireland shaking their head, not knowing how she caught that one. And I don't think any of the Irish players are really going to care.
No, Niamh Winnikin there getting possible double stats for herself there for Ireland. It now at 3-2. The floaty high release backhand that we've seen from Jones before. Just 1-2. One from the face, tipped back into the hands just to be sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches of the disc before she reels it in there. I'm sure all the Irish players and all the fans on the sideline were never in doubt. A long point there, and it's only 2-2.
Yeah, if we were playing Flutterguts, that would unfortunately not count. But we're not playing Flutterguts, thankfully. Wales with another opportunity. Lees fakes.
Get some fresh legs on the field as we see Turner going deep.
Massive bid. Does look like a bit of a whack on the head in the ground. And a sore shoulder. We're getting the score for Wales.
Turner putting his body on the line there for his country. And just after we saw a point that maybe lasted around 10 to 15 minutes, Wales go and score in the space of 20 seconds, we want to say. And if you're the other line, you will be fuming that Wales have scored that quickly, because you've just played about 10 minutes of a point. You're thinking you're going to get a bit of a rest, and then, boom, Wales go and score a wonderful point there as Turner just about keeps that in. You see lands on his shoulder, but he's not minding at all. I'm sure we'll get some treatment on the sideline from our physio who's there. Teresa doing a great job of helping all the Frisbee players that are coming into this with many injuries and deciding to play on regardless. You know, it's a long season. This is out with their club season, these tournaments, so players are really doing a great job to represent their country as the pool goes up from Lees.
And what a pull that is. It's right in the centre of the end zone, a really dangerous spot for Ireland to be in. Wales hungry to get the turn, and they do. Wilson kicking it out the side of the pitch.
You know, I rate that. Buy yourself a little bit of time to set up your defence. I'm sure she didn't mean to, but Wales with their tails up a little bit now. It's 3-3. They've got more interceptions. And leaves with a short opportunity as he elects to put it wide.
It's a much better position to be in. You're closer to the centre of the pitch. That sideline we've seen already is dangerous. And if you've got a disc floating one direction and it's towards the sideline, you're already shafted.
Yeah, Wales showing great patience. They know they've got the skill to be able to put this in. Wonderful inside shot there. And that is a goal from number 5. Tidswell. Just an excellent point there from Wales. They really were patient. I was thinking if you're on that sideline, you're about 3 yards out of the goal, you can get a little dish into the end zone. But Wales, really credit to them, took their time in the wind, took their time to spread the field. Inside shots, breaks around as we see the drop and kick. Almost
semi-intentional.
Semi-intentionally, almost definitely. But a lovely inside shot there. Almost looked like number 9 wasn't really expecting it. And a really wonderful break around Tidswell in the end zone, who was streaking, cutting before, showing great chemistry from Wales there. They're really working the disc well. For a team that's not played together much, that was an excellent point. And Wales have got their tails up now. Ireland have got to dig deep to see something in this game. Even though there's 20 minutes left, we do not know how long some of these points are going to last.
Yeah, I think this is the first game where we've not seen one particular team kind of charge ahead and push through above the other. So seeing them neck and neck, it's really hard to call. And that's the story throughout this tournament. It's hard to call who's going to take it away.
It'll be really interesting to see what adjustments happen when you get to the finals, as the disc is just dropped there.
Lung for Wales. Try to dish across to Mud.
Ireland taking their time here to set up. I really wonder if they're going to be as expansive as Wales were in the past in moving the disc sideways around the pitch, or if they're going to look to try get a quick score going upfield, and that's exactly what they're doing.
McCreary looking for Jones. Jones tries to jump high, seeing how close the back end zone line was. He's frustrated on that one.
And you just wonder if it seems like Wales have got a little bit more confidence playing in their sets in comparison to Ireland. Wales had a similar position to score the Frisbee just in the last point and took their time, were patient, and Wales just being Ireland was being a little bit impatient there as McCreary was unable to read the disc properly. Good boxing out from the defender.
Sully dishes to Lung. Sully being one of the captains for this Welsh side. Receives again. Jenkins calls for it deep, but likes the option in Jackson instead, having to make sure it's bubbled back into his chest. Dishes to Mud. Lung was free on that closer end zone line, but tries to look for Haynes. A low shot.
Again, Wales, though, taking extremely high percentage shots. It seems like every throw is to a person. That's in acres of space. And it just seems like they're that little bit more comfortable than Ireland right now. Let's see if Ireland can settle themselves.
There's been a pick called, looking at the hand signals. Ireland have managed to centre the disc to Corcoran. And we've spoken bits here and there about chemistry. Wales as a team have been developing chemistry throughout the tournament. But Ireland, a lot of these players have played together for years and years at various senior programs or within club seasons, whether that be open mixed or women's. So it should pay dividends, and it showed to be some sort of benefit in the Scotland game. The high release
and you have
over
to say,
the top.
Great defense from Ireland there, but what is the Wales player thinking there? You're looking for a quick dish to the end zone. We love to see the big expansive throws and the hammers, but really you've got to be more mindful of the position you're in. Really, you're point up, a chance to go 2 up, and in these short games, being 2 up is a huge advantage.
And Sully, momentum almost pushing him backwards on the catch. Mud trying to look deep, but tipped away from Sexton. McCreary quickly picks up to Jones.
I do love the Frisbee style of Sully, number 25 for Ireland. The hat on, the shades on. He's looking, and a huge layout bid there from number 44, Haynes. Wales get the disc back in a wonderful position, and it's all due to Sasha Haynes.
Yeah, they're the kind of bids that we usually see from Sasha Haynes. She's played for Lemmings in the past, I believe she's playing for Spice this year. I might be wrong. No, Deep Space. I am very wrong, but that is certainly a play we'll see from her time and time again. A powerful athlete.
And unfortunately, they couldn't reward the efforts of Haynes there by turning the disc over on the first throw as Ireland looked to go deep.
McCreary dishes back to Sexton. Receives again.
Extremely casual throw there, but wonderfully nonetheless.
Gian. Corcoran, who is completely on his own, unmarked. McKeown. Back to Gian.
Ireland being patient here.
There's some beautiful offense. Jones jumping but still receiving within the belly. McCreary. Back and across to McKeown. Floated. Just outside the end zone. They're getting closer and closer, but this Welsh defense is slowing them down. Trying to look over the top to Jones. Didn't even really think that was going to get into his hands, unfortunately.
Ireland did themselves a little bit of a disservice there because they did work up maybe 10, 12 passes, all to the stomach, all easy catches, and then just a sort of simple throwaway, a little bit of impatientness set in there, and it's a turnover on Wales with another opportunity.
There's a lot of hands on knees as well. You can see that fatigue has bled into play here.
As we see this huge bid from Haynes. That's just absolutely monstrous.
Jackson Johnson it up to the front end zone line. Gives it to Lung. Jenkins tries to go for the second reception.
Bit of a worm-like catch there, or an attempted worm-like catch.
Immediately blocked again. This is tit for tat, D for D.
And we are, again, like you said, starting to see that fatigue set in, which just allows these points to go on that little bit longer as the players are unable to catch them as the disc is set wide to Sully.
Around to Jackson, dishing back between themselves. Jackson looking deep, has Haynes in the deep space, also has Mudd, but too low, wisely holstering the bid.
An absolute laser of a backhand there. Better shot that ended up being than I thought, as a foul is called on the mark there.
Mudd accepting the foul on Sexton. McCreary was anticipating that deep shot from Jackson.
Again, it sits up that just that little bit longer than you think it's going to go.
Sexton on the sideline tries to dish over to Corcoran. Does find Corcoran, but with a little bit of a bush.
And we see about 6 Irish and Welsh players all in the same space there, as we see a wonderful put set out into the distance there. And yeah, there goes number 44, Haynes. The defensive monster and masterclass that she's been putting on this game has been an absolute privilege to watch so far. So it looks like we're going back as an injury has been called.
Yeah, that looks like McKeown is choosing to take the injury there.
Remember the name, Sasha Haynes.
Phil Heaney stepping on. Sully checks in with a tap to the ground. Wales taking their time to set up their stack. But Jackson is available for the under option. Jackson sees Williams going deep, but there's 2 defenders in the space, Corcoran and Sexton, with the dual stat. A cluster of Welsh defenders in the open side space, just not really having to do much to get involved. But Jones is isolated on this closer sideline. Doesn't like any of the options he's seeing. Asking Sexton to move slightly closer.
Much better from the Irish here. Much more patient. Let's see if they can keep up that patience.
Galini down to McCreary. Beautiful arcing around backhand, but a bid through Jones.
Looks like that could be a sore one. Just a slightly short throw. Both players look like they were going for it. I don't think there's any malice in that one, but Jones definitely looks like he's come off worse, and you've got to feel for him. Foul has been called, and they will They will hash this one out. But again, Ireland, they work it up well. They get it up to the red zone. And they look for just a too difficult shot into the end zone.
I'm not sure whether it's the timing element or what aspects of pressure is being applied to cause that last second rush. But I would agree with you. They're so calm and casual with so many of their shots and throws, and particularly using their break side. But it's the last option. It's just...
Especially for a team with so much chemistry together, you think they would have that trust. They've got that, understanding with each other as we see the disc going back on a contested foul, it looks like. So Ireland with, quite fortunately, I would argue, with a second opportunity here to put the disc in.
And shockingly, Jones is staying on the field, looking for Gilheeney.
Better look there, higher percentage option there from Ireland, but just sat up and it allowed Sully to come in and intercept the disc there.
Absolute laser of a flick across to Jackson.
Speaking of laser flicks, onto Plums there, the Welsh handler, as Ireland look to move it quickly. It's turned over once again.
Lapse of concentration on the catch. Fingertips can't wrap around the edge of the disc quite well enough. Williams looks to Jackson, does eventually find the score that Wales need for a break, I believe.
There's been that many turnovers, I'm not sure. Given the scoreline, I would assume it is a break. So it's now 3-5 to Wales. Not very long left. That 2-point advantage could prove to be big, especially given how long these points are going on for.
Ireland need to find that little nugget of grit, something inside their bellies, a little bit of fire. Maybe it was the barbecue that they might have eaten before the game that is weighing them down.
No, we have to give a shout out to Leah Hartley, who is working the barbecue today, and I have to say, doing it magnificently. The first smell that you had when you came into these wonderful pitches, the burgers on the grill, you cannot ask for much more.
And so far today, this has been, it's been a wonderful tournament overall. We've got so much more coming up for you. This is the fourth game. No, the fifth game. I've lost track of how many games we've had. But we've got so much coverage for you all day today. You can obviously watch back the games that we have already done. But there are going to be more games for free, completely for free on ULTI.TV. Please do support the channel if you can. Obviously, these games are free, but there are many more games and tournaments that ULTI.TV try to support. And we'd love to continue supporting events like this, which means so much to not just the Scottish community of Ultimate, but various other communities around Great Britain and Ireland.
And you have to give a shout out to the travelling fans who have made their way not only from the likes of Edinburgh, but as far south as London. Some people have come up to support their country and to watch their teams, and that just means the world to us. We would love this to become one of the biggest tournaments, globally, hopefully, and make, British Frisbee make this a real staple for British Frisbee going forward. As I say, speaking of the Frisbee style of Wales, we saw the James Sully looking very stylish, and I have to give a shout out to Izzy Ratout, who is looking like a bit of a second row with the straps on her legs, but excellent Frisbee style nonetheless, as Wales have intercepted the disc.
Tidswell with the block. Massive fakes from Lees, but unfortunately too much IO on the wrong side of the field makes it fly outside the sideline.
Yeah, that disc has ended up in Loch Lomond, let me tell you.
Ireland going for the quick pickup. McCreary over to Cunningham. Cunningham surveying her options. Didn't necessarily like what was around, and it's unfortunately generated a turn. So Wales with just about a third of the field, including the end zone.
Zoe Davies with a great handblock as a pick is called.
Number 2 was wide open on the under. I believe the straps on Ratu's legs are because of sore quads. So it's,
yeah,
it's not a style choice.
Don't think she'll be getting lifted in any lineouts anytime soon.
to one of the other captains for this Welsh side.
Played in Scotland for a number of years as well. As Wales punch it in, that's Turner with another score. Been a mainstay here, and Wales take a commanding lead here with just 6 minutes left.
That might be the nail in the coffin, unfortunately. We have seen some pretty big comebacks already today. We saw in the Scotland-Ireland game, pretty hefty comeback, being 3-0 down, and then it being what we can call here universe point. There isn't really a universe, it's just it ends on the final buzzer possession. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw Ireland clawing their way back. This shot from Lees. Textbook, nice and simple. You wouldn't even imagine that it's upwind.
What I love about this tournament format is, although yes, you want to get a good seed, yes, you want to get the favourable matchup going into the finals, this is really just a feeler match. You know, if you meet these guys, meet these people later on in the tournament, you've got a great opportunity to know how they play. So although Ireland are losing here, they're not going to be too disheartened if they go on to lose this game, because they know there's another opportunity coming further down the tournament. As we see a huge pull going out there, and it looks like it's going to stick in the back of the end zone.
Yep. It's a couple of centimetres from that back end zone line. Sexton found Corcoran for a release valve, but they're still within their own end zone.
Ireland being patient here. And as soon as I say that, they launch it deep. And a huge grab.
Keogh to Jones. Jones to Sexton. And Sexton quickly floating over the top. Woo!
And there she is again. Another great score from Ireland. There I go. I should maybe be quiet a little bit because, you know, criticising Ireland for the lack of patience. Two great deep shots there. And maybe that's what they were looking for the entire game, and is now just starting to come off. Let's see. You know, there's only 2 points in this. Could Ireland make a comeback?
They heard you, and they were like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, we're going to prove you wrong. And
shut this guy
they
up.
certainly did. The Ranelagh connection of Keogh to Jones. Jones absolutely soaring through the air. Dished it behind to Sexton, and Sexton to Nivinikin. Almost between the players' heads. What a phenomenal throw and phenomenal camera shot.
And a Nivinikin with just an excellent read there. Mo was so impressed that people that are patient when it comes to discs floating above their head, they let it come to them, they don't go chasing after it, and more often than not, that's the way to catch it. You let your defender go up first, then you've got all the time in the world to take that down, and that's exactly what Nivinikin did as Wales turn it over.
That was fantastic movement from the Welsh offenders, but the inside backhand shot slightly too far out for the receiver for Tidswell to get to.
Just going to say, Ireland with a huge opportunity here to bring the deficit to 1 if they can get another turn.
And Wales know that they can take their time. They don't need to rush options. That seems to have happened here, trying to get that toe in again.
Ireland looking to move quickly as a deep shot goes up.
Oh my goodness, McCreary, that was incredible catch.
Ireland need to take their time here. And they do that. Big fan of the dump option after making a big play like that.
Some lovely give-go with the 3 handlers at the back, just trying to laser it through to Galini. Again, wanting to take their time, but it's not being displayed in their throws or the execution and their options that they're taking.
Yeah, again, Ireland with a huge opportunity there, as we saw a great grab here. Excellently read, double coverage, just reads it better than anyone else. And a falling back IO flick break, and we see the expression from the Ireland player on the sideline there. I think that's how all Ireland fans were feeling at that moment, as Wales look big once again.
Almost did manage to catch that Stalin on the underneath.
You wonder why Wales are trying to go a little bit too quickly here. They've got the time, they've got the lead, they're in control of this game. But if they let Ireland into this, it might be a different story.
I'm unsure as to whether they're trying to do some sort of huck and D, try and get it away from the Irish end zone as quickly as possible. But hucking upwind, it's not going to get too far. It's going to be more of a third to half field lead pass instead.
That's a score for the Irish. Bringing the deficit down to 1. That is absolutely massive. With a minute and a half left in this game, Ireland are right back in it. 3 down, now only 1 down. Ireland have got to move quickly if they want to get anything from this game. Wales taking their time.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be the tactic that Wales are going to bring in for this next possession. They know that they do not have to rush it at all. If they do take their time, just take on simple options, just keep passing backwards. Well, maybe not too far backwards, really. A bit too close to the end zone.
And you wonder if that will be the difference maker. You know, if Ireland had made that shot 30 seconds earlier, 45 seconds earlier, they wouldn't be rushing as much, and they might be able to get something more at this game. But like we said, you know, the stall count goes to 10. Ireland could make 4 passes and see this game out easily. But we know in this wind, making 4 passes is harder than it looks.
Williams busts deep and then comes under to receive from Selly.
Wales looking to move it up the field here.
Haynes is also loitering around in the deep space, almost sleuthing and waiting for it to get to her. Mudd to Williams.
Wales not having to do anything special here as they look to do that big shot to Sully. Floats over and caught by Sasha Haynes. Woman of the match, you have to really say. Big blocks, big grabs. She has done it all this game.
And just as the hooter goes, the celebration, the first win for Wales after drawing earlier on this afternoon. They'll be pretty elated with that. That's possibly going to cause some funkiness in this round-robin format.
You would definitely say so. Wales, being the underdogs going into this tournament, you would have to argue, have come out firing on all cylinders. Huge result against England, drawing 7-7. And then comfortably, you have to say, at the end of the day, winning against Ireland. Some wonderful plays from everyone. It was great to see how patient they were, how well they took their offensive plays, and how hard they worked on defense as well.
Yeah, just getting a quick look at the stats. Wales with double the amount of clean holds, able to earn themselves 3 breaks as well, is massively impressive. Congratulations to Wales taking this game against Ireland 7-5. We've got plenty more coverage coming up for you today as I just look at what we're doing next. We're doing Scotland versus Wales, so please do stay tuned to ULTI.TV for Finlay Watson, I've been Gigi Morrison, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.